Hey guys, today I filmed a tutorial on this look using the ColourPop Yes Please palette. This is an all matte look that is very bright using the yellow, orange, and red in this palette. And of course you can create multiple different looks, but I just thought this was a very fun one that I wanted to play with. And I also used a ColourPop blush and ColourPop lip products to go along with it. So I'm going to have a tutorial at the beginning of this video, and then at the end I'm going to have some random ColourPop chit chat on different ColourPop related topics like ColourPop coming to Sephora, the many releases ColourPop has had over the summer, and I'm also going to talk about whether I think ColourPop products are actually a good value considering how much you're paying per gram and all of that business. So tutorial is first and then the rambles at the end in case you're not interested in that, which I totally understand. So I have already primed my eye with the Milani eyeshadow primer, and I set my primer in my crease and on my brow bone using Full Zip from the palette. And for my transition color, I am going to be taking this light peachy sherbet shade Champs, and I'm going to apply it with the Morphe R38 brush. And I am just applying this right into my crease and above it. This is a very light shade, but it works as a great transition on fair skin, and I do like to build this up a little bit, which will make the color show up a little bit deeper as well. Next, I'm going to take a cream base on my lid. This is the Milani Shadow Eyes pencil in the shade Snowy White, which was limited edition, but you can use the NYX Jumbo pencil in Milk. And I'm just going to draw this right on my lid. And then going back into the palette, I'm going to take this matte yellow in the shade Mischief, and I'm going to apply it on my lid with the Morphe M167, which is just a flat shader brush. And this is a very pigmented shade on its own, but I like putting it over top of that white base to make it even more intense. And I'm going to put this on the first 2/3 of my lid. And I just went back in for a second layer to really build it up. But the pigment on this eyeshadow is very impressive for a matte yellow. Then I'm going to take the matte red Spoiled and apply it with that same Morphe M167 brush. And then I'm going to put this on the outer third of my lid. And I'm just kind of stamping it on. And then with the little bit that I have left in the brush, I'm just going to go over where the two colors meet and stamp it again. And it tends to turn into an orangey shade, which helps it fade. And if you are having trouble, there is an orange in the palette that you can take to blend them out, but I think that this works just fine. Then I'm going to take the bright matte orange in the shade Big Cocktails with the Morphe R39 crease brush, and I'm going to just apply this in my crease. And this is a very bright orangey shade. If you want something that is still orange but not so bright, you could use the shade Girls Night Out, which is still an orange, but it is more of a burnt orange with a little bit more brown to it. Either one of those shades works really well in the crease, but I decided to do the more bright option. And then I am just placing this in my crease and blending back and forth and bringing it all the way to the inner part of my crease with what is left in the brush and being really light-handed and blending a lot. And because the shade Girls Night Out is a little bit darker, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that on this same Morphe R39 brush and apply this to just the outer part of the crease, and just placing this right in the outer part and just blending back and forth. Then I'm going to go back in with this light peachy matte shade Champs and the Morphe R38 brush just to blend around the edges of the crease. Then I'm going to go back in with the yellow Mischief and the red Spoiled with the Morphe M167, the flat shaded brush, and I'm just going to re-intensify those shades on my lid. So just picking up a little bit of the product, and I'm just going to press it right over where the same color is. And with the red shade again, I am just going to pat right where the two shades meet to make it fade to a little bit more of an orange. And that is all for the eyeshadow. I'm going to do eyeliner and mascara and be back to show you what's going on my face. So here what the eyes look like all complete. I never put anything on the lower lash line, but if that is something that you do, then these shadows would look awesome smoked out under the eye. So for liner, I use the Physicians Formula Eye Booster, and for mascara, I use the Maybelline Colossal Cat Eyes and the Maybelline Falsies Mascara. For blush, because this is a ColourPop tutorial, I decided that I would pull out one of my Super Shock blushes. This is in the shade Never Been Kissed, which is part of a fall collection, but I'm pretty sure this one is still available. And I was recently watching ColourPop's Instagram stories, and Jordan had applied one of these Super Shock blushes with a beauty sponge. So I decided that I would give it a shot. I'm a little nervous about how it's going to turn out. I did try it once yesterday and I put on way too much, so we'll see how it goes today. This is just the Pure Cosmetics Cameo Contour Sponge. This one is beat up. I need to be tossing it out soon, which is why I figured why not just try it with this. So I have already dampened it and we are just gonna go for it. These blushes are just so freaking hard. Okay, and just applying this on the back of my cheek, working towards my apples. All right, that worked. Let's just swirl on in there and doing the same on this side. I'm just trying to press it into my cheek. So for lips, I wanted to go with something simple and a peachy nude. So I'm going to be using the ColourPop Lippie Pencil in Aquarius, as well as the Ultra Satin Lip in Aquarius. And this is look all complete. I think that peachy nude lip goes really, really well with this eyeshadow, and I really love the way that everything turned out. And this is just one of the many, many different looks you can create with the Yes Please palettes. I would love to know your favorite looks in the comments down below. So now I want to give you guys my thoughts on these different ColourPop related topics, starting with ColourPop being sold at Sephora. So if you guys are not aware, starting in November for the holiday season, ColourPop is going to start being sold at Sephora. And these products are going to be limited edition and only sold at Sephora. These items are not also going to be on the ColourPop website. And for now, this is just for holiday. ColourPop hasn't disclosed whether or not this is going to be a more permanent thing. Maybe they're waiting to see how sales do before Sephora decides if they want to take on ColourPop as a full-time brand. And these products are going to be available on Sephora.com as well as select stores in the United States. Now, I only have a Sephora inside JCPenney, so I doubt it's going to come to me, also because I'm in a smaller town. So I'd be excited if it does go to Sephora inside JCP's, but I'm thinking mostly probably the big Sephora stores, but we will see about that. So at first, I was very surprised that ColourPop was coming to Sephora, because why wouldn't it go to Ulta? Because Ulta carries other drugstore brands, and one of the owners of ColourPop, Laura, talked about how she thinks that ColourPop and Sephora have some of the same values when it comes to makeup and some of the same inspiration and their goals for makeup and different stuff like that. And the more I started to think about it, the more excited I got that these products are going to be available at Sephora, and there are many reasons for that. And the first reason is because I have flash shipping from Sephora. So flash shipping is a service that comes free if you are a VIB Rouge, but if you're just a beauty insider or just a VIB, then you can sign up and spend $10 to get 365 days worth of free shipping. I literally have purchased a $2 Formula X clearance nail polish and I got free shipping on it, which is incredible. And even if you don't shop online at Sephora very often, if you shop more than twice a year, then it's worth it, because right now it is a free shipping with a minimum of a $50 purchase. And if you don't hit that $50 mark, shipping costs either $6 or $7 in the US. So if you made 2 online orders and had to pay shipping, that right there is the price of flash shipping. And I think that it's totally worth it. It's an amazing, amazing service because it is free 2-day shipping. And if you guys shop from the ColourPop website, you know that it is free shipping with a $30 purchase. So if Sephora has a ColourPop eyeshadow for $5 and that's all I want, then with my flash shipping, I can buy it free shipping, no problem. So that makes me very excited that I won't have to spend as much for free shipping. And also what's great about Sephora is that this is gonna add to your Sephora points and also towards the amount of money you spent in that year to get to higher statuses. And with ColourPop, there isn't any kind of reward system for the money that you spend. Also, you cannot use Ebates when you're purchasing from ColourPop, but you can use Ebates when you're purchasing from Sephora, and you also get 3 free samples from Sephora. And some other big things I wanted to mention is that ColourPop is not going to be jacking up the prices to be sold at Sephora. Everything is going to cost exactly the same. Also, all of their products are still going to be created and made in the ColourPop warehouse. They're not shipping them out somewhere else to be made. Everything as far as manufacturing and the price is going to stay the same. I'm not sure how they're doing that, but I'm not going to complain because this is all great news to me. Another great thing is that if you are lucky enough to have a store that's going to feature these ColourPop products, you can actually swatch them before you buy them. I wish I was able to do that because there has been so many times where I've purchased products from ColourPop, I get them in the mail, and then I'm like, what the heck, that looks nothing like it did online. And then I'm stuck with it, even though I don't like the way that it looks on my skin. That happens with me a lot when it comes to lip products. And like I said, if you are someone that is not going to be lucky enough to have these products in store, even if you buy them online, you have the ability to return them, which is amazing. Like, I would have saved so much money with ColourPop if they had a return policy. I cannot wait to see what products that Sephora is going to have from ColourPop. I'm assuming that as November gets closer, they will start to release that information. Make sure you are following ColourPop on Instagram and on Snapchat, because on Snapchat and in their Instagram stories, they will give you that information. So I'm very excited, and I think that's all great news. My next topic is talking about all of ColourPop's releases. So for this summer, they didn't really have a large collection. They had a bunch of small collections. So they had all of those summer shadows. They had the summer ultra matte, ultra satin lips. They also had a summer eyeshadow quad that was separate from all of those other shadows. They also had the Yes Please palette. They had the Karuchi collection. They also had that crystal collection. They introduced 4 brand new products to their line: the concealers, the brushes, the powder bronzers, and the powder highlighters. That has just been the products that have been released since freaking summer. You guys, that's like all the stuff that's been released in the past 3 months max, which is insane. Every single Thursday, ColourPop has been either releasing a new product or restocking one of these newer sold out collections, which is honestly very overwhelming to me. I love ColourPop, but all of this influx of products is making me like push away from them and not be so interested anymore. And especially for them introducing 4 new products basically all at the same time. I'm pretty sure concealer and brushes came out at one time, and then the pressed highlighters and bronzers came out at another time. And that was like a week apart. If ColourPop would have spaced them out by 2 weeks or a month, I think they would have had a greater effect, and it would have given everybody a moment to be excited and get hyped about these products. But when you release so many things at once, it's just overwhelming and hard to keep up with. And you guys know I'm a big ColourPop fan. I spend a lot of money on ColourPop, and I am not interested in any of their 4 new products. Sort of kind of a concealer, but I've heard that it oxidizes, which means that the lightest shade will then be too dark for me. So it's had the opposite effect on me. I don't want these things at all now because it's just way too much all at once. And also, they just announced that they are going to be adding 2 more brow products to the line. Another brow pencil that is a lot more fine tip and it isn't as pigmented as their other brow pencil, and also a clear brow gel. I didn't buy anything from the Karuchi collection. I would have purchased that eyeshadow palette if I didn't already have a bunch of the Valentine's eyeshadows and the spring pinky eyeshadows that look very similar. Otherwise, I would definitely have purchased that. I think it's probably amazing quality, and I'm very excited for more ColourPop palettes in the future. And do not get me started on the crystals collection. I am not interested in that kind of thing. It's just not my thing. But it seems like such a gimmick to have crystal primer spray, setting spray, liquid highlights, and lip balms. Now, I am not a setting spray kind of person, but I probably would have been interested in these because they are so affordable and they have them marketed for dry skin and for oily skin. I probably would have purchased them, But because it's a crystals theme, now I'm completely turned off and I don't want it. I just feel like, come on, ColourPop. You have great prices. You have great colors. There are so many reasons why people want to buy your products. You don't need to throw a gimmick in it like crystals. So that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people love crystals and it is a cool concept, but for me, it really turned me off. So all of these really, really quickly released new collections have actually had an opposite effect on me where I'm not wanting to buy anything. And the last thing I wanted to talk about would be my opinions on whether ColourPop products are actually a good value. So for the Super Shock shadows and the Lippie sticks specifically, I do not think you get a lot of product in them if you're looking at the amount of ounces that come in them. Do I care? Not at all. And I realize that a lot of people have complained mostly about the ColourPop Lippie sticks, saying that you don't get that much in there. You get about a third the amount of product that you get in a MAC lipstick. So MAC lipsticks are like, what, $17 now? So a little bit more than 3 times the price of a ColourPop Lippie stick, but you're getting 3 times the amount of product. And that makes a lot of sense why it would be worth it. But if you think about the price per gram, then it seems about equal. And for me, I have such a large collection, it is going to be impossible for me to work through all of my ColourPop Lippie sticks and my Super Shock shadows. So I would rather pay a third of the price for a third of the product, because it's still going to take me forever to use it. But if you have a more minimal collection, or that kind of thing is a really big deal to you, then maybe you'd be very turned off by ColourPop. But some of their products are a good price per gram, like their new pressed powder bronzers and highlighters. I think from what I've seen, that's actually a lot of product for your money. And then for like the Yes Please palette, I think that each of these shadows is about half the size of a regular eyeshadow, but it is $16. And in the Urban Decay Naked palettes, those are full-size eyeshadows, 12 of them. So, okay, let's say that 2 of these eyeshadows makes 1 Urban Decay shadow for price per gram. So that means that if these were full-size eyeshadows, then this would still only be $32 compared to Urban Decay's $54. So to me, this is still totally worth it. You get a lot of product. You're not going to blow through this in a couple of days. This is going to last you forever, especially if you have a lot of products in your collection. So for that reason, I am not bothered. I don't feel like I'm getting gypped by ColourPop in any way, because as I said, I would rather pay a lesser price tag for a lesser amount of product. Now, if it was a really small amount of product in a concealer or a foundation, I probably would be a little bit more upset about that, because those are things that I use the same thing on a daily basis for the most part. But for colored products like eyeshadows and lip products, I have so many, I'm not using the same thing every day, so that is not something that bothers me personally. So I think those are all of the ColourPop rambles that I have now. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on ColourPop products, please check out my ColourPop hits and misses that I will have linked up here, and I would love to know your thoughts on all of these topics in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.